Dear friends, welcome to the fifth straw of the 25 straws for Jesus as we move towards Christmas. We take a reading from the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 2, verses 10 onwards. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They knelt down and paid him homage. Then opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Dear friends, welcome to today's reflection, which is from the Church of Our Lady of Immaculate Conception in Penang. I'm here for a few days, and that's the church. That's the portion of the church behind that you see. It's a beautiful church that has a wonderful history as well, which was built in 1811, and even had one of its parish priests who is declared a saint, Saint Jacques Chantan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, or else the parishioners are going to have a good go at me. You might hear a bit of background sound. First of all, I'm doing the recording outside, and there's a fountain, a beautiful fountain that's there, so that's the water sound that you get to hear behind. Well, as we are going towards Christmas, and we have all these little things that are very integral to our Christmas celebrations, our Christmas preparation as well. One thing that always excited me was when my sister would bake cakes for Christmas. And it was interesting for me is because she did an amazing job, obviously. But one thing I love to do is when the cake is being baked, the mixture that is there, I love to lick that. And she was very, very strict. She wouldn't allow me to touch it till she gave me permission, and that is when she would have taken out all the contents and put it into the baking pan, and there'd be this very little that would be remaining, and she let me lick that. But I was a favorite of it. But she usually did it only during the last few days. One thing I realized with Christmas cakes is how much of effort goes into it, especially in other places where, especially in the Western world, I've seen that in amongst the Sri Lankans as well. Recently, a very good friend, they have come down to Sri Lanka, and they've come down to Colombo from Melbourne, and they have already prepared their Christmas cakes to distribute at home, though they were not staying till Christmas. And so I'm thinking how much of effort went into it to soak the fruits and all that you want to put in. So much of planning, so much of effort that goes into baking a Christmas cake. Now, I love baking as well. It's one of the only forms of cooking that I actually know, or at least I know a bit. And I used to bake cakes, but one thing I realized, and when I look back today, I've baked cakes and I've distributed it to friends, to family, but I've never done it to strangers. It was more to people I knew, people I cared for, people who cared for me. And I remember a lady telling me, she's a single person, and she said she bakes cakes every Christmas, and she cut it into small pieces. Now that involves a lot of the soaking and all the preparation that goes on for a few months. And then she cuts it into small pieces, wraps it, and she goes to different homes where there are people who are lonely just by themselves. And in the Western world, you see a lot of that as well. And she'd go there and she'd put it into their mailbox with a little note saying, "You're not alone." Now, she doesn't know. She told me she doesn't know if they actually eat it or they chuck it out. But just the thought, and I thought to myself, isn't that beautiful? I've baked cakes before, and I've given it to family and friends, those who appreciate it, those who might think, oh, Father made it for us, and so would have eaten it, even if it tasted horrible. But here's a person who gave it to perfect strangers who will never even know her. And this Christmas, when Maybe you bake cakes, and I hope you will make the effort of doing it. Because in that effort, rather than just buying it, in that effort, there's a lot of ourselves we put into it. There's a lot of sweetness that we put into it. That doesn't just come from sugar, it comes from lots of love, a lot of care that we put into it, a lot of our talents that go into it as well. All that come from the heart. And we usually give it to people we know and we care for. Can you this Christmas, as a straw for Jesus, take at least one extra and give it to someone you don't know, someone who might not expect it from you, someone who might not believe that it is actually you giving it to them? Can you do that? Because it's going to be a straw that will be very, very special for Jesus, treasured by the Lord in His manger. It will be hard, it will be tough, but know that when you're sharing it, you're sharing love. And that's important. That is what we celebrate Christmas for as well. Make meaning to the cake that you bake. Give it purpose. And that is how it becomes a blessing for many. Let's close our eyes. Oh Jesus, we thank you for these different traditions we have in the build-up to Christmas. But even as we have these traditions, this tradition of baking our cakes, this year, give me the grace to bake another extra, at least one, to go and share it with someone who does not expect it from me, maybe someone I don't even know. And may that turn into a blessing and bring sweetness into their life this Christmas. Lord Jesus, bless every person who's going to do that today. And that's my prayer for them. That when they bake that cake and take it to someone who does not expect, let that turn into a blessing not only to those who receive it, but to that heart of sweetness that gifted it. Bless them and their families for what they do this Christmas. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day. They're all familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And thought how as the day had come, the belfries of our Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then peal the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth